Rolling sound, quiet. Here we go. Reading. 1.67. And starting with an action.
Hi, everyone. Chad Matthews coming to you from Fort Worth, Texas with the Lone Star Film Festival. Today's film talk is with the filmmakers from the short film South of MARFA. It's a film that is screening in our Cinemas program here at the Lone Star Film Festival. It's 8 minutes. If you haven't seen it, we highly recommend you check it out. It's a conversation piece. Today, I'll be joined by writer and director Karen Skloss. And the lead actress in the film is Brittany Ortiz, who will also be joining us as well. So enjoy the film talk. Welcome to the Lone Star Film Festival.
Thank you. We're so happy to be showing the movie here.
Yeah, happy to be
It's a perfect movie for us. It's a perfect movie for Texas. I kind of wanted to start off with the idea and the origin of the story. I feel like the setting of the film probably brought about the story, if I'm not wrong, but if I am, maybe you can tell us how you came about with the idea.
Well, I guess I started. There's a really wonderful grant program in the city of Austin, and there were the news stories around what was going on with immigration at the border, and I kind of got really upset and inspired all at once and wrote this grant. And then it was a process of trying to figure out, okay, well, what is the story that a white lady can tell about this particular issue? Where's the sort of space of the story where I feel like I can frame such a story? And that was actually kind of a process. But then it sort of came to me in a flash, the whole idea of the border blimp and border crossings. And some of it almost just came to me from just going to MARFA and kind of being around and sort of knowing about the border blimp. And it wasn't until we were actually scouting the location and talking to actual people in MARFA that I realized that the script was accurate. You know, luckily, that people had those kinds of experiences. So.
I mean, I've never been to MARFA. I've only seen it in film. With that border blimp, I mean, is that what it looks like?
Well, I know it's almost sci-fi, right?
Yeah, it's a little scary, actually.
Yeah. I mean, normally, I think unless you are having an encounter with the blimp, it's just a tiny little speck in the sky. But you know, when we were down there casting, we were talking to some local people and who had grown up around the blimp, and they were saying, as children, they would be like, there it is, not knowing what it meant and what it was doing, and as children, they thought it was really cool and they would see it. It's kind of like the Goodyear blimp. It's just about the same size, I think.
Is it really? Wow.
It's huge.
Wow, that is big. Brittany, how did you get involved in the project? Did you know Karen, or did you have an audition process? How did you join the movie?
Yeah, my agent, Collier Talent, they gave me the lead on this project. I had never worked with Karen, but of course, when I saw her name listed on the audition form, I did my research. I looked up some of the movies that she had done and some of the work she had done with her crew, and it definitely got me a bit excited to work with her. But yeah, this was my first experience working with her and her team.
So let's talk a little bit about a female production. I mean, you guys talk about this in your submission form, that it's really important for you to hire female artists. What's that process like, and has it changed over, say, the past 5 years or a decade? I mean, I know that on the programming side, we're seeing more movies submitted by female filmmakers, but it's still not above 30%. I mean, it's still not to the level that we hope it can get to. Talk about that as female filmmakers.
Well, it's funny because one of the things that I guess when I got into film, which now it's like been 20 years, which is weird, but when I first got into it, I remember my mom just being like, you can do anything. And my mom was like a conservative Catholic lady. She wasn't, like a wild feminist or anything like that. But I believed her. And so I just never really thought about it for so long. And it wasn't until, I guess, I directed a segment of Slacker 2011, and I was sitting at the table with all the other directors, and I realized at that time I was the only woman. There wound up being some more women who directed segments, but I was the only woman at the table. And I think that was the first time where I was just like, oh, yeah, right. This is, and then once you sort of see something, you kind of can't unsee it. And so that made me realize, maybe there's a reason why I haven't had as many directing opportunities as I thought I would. And maybe I should really be more thoughtful about this when I'm crewing up on my own things, when I have a chance to make something.
Was it difficult to crew up the way you wanted it for the production, or is it pretty easy now to do?
Well, in the case of this film, we just had a tiny grant budget and we didn't have any extra funding. So we crewed up at like the most bare bones crew that you could possibly have. And I was just lucky. And it's interesting because Rose, when I was talking with Rose was had not transitioned. She was actually started transitioning while we were shooting the film. So that was at first I had hired, we made a decision to work together, to collaborate together, but Rose was a man. And so it was, it was just in that case, it was a function of wanting to work with him at that time. And then I got to work with her, and it was a wonderful learning experience on so many fronts on this short. So I wish Rose was here so we could talk about that a little bit. But
yeah, so with the shoot itself, I mean, I guess it's pretty difficult to go to a remote location like you were at with your crew. How long were you out there? How big was the crew?
We were out there 3 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did a day of. We did like a few days of just, getting all the locations set and all of that. And then we were out there for 3 days, shooting for 2 full days, so in the entire thing. And, with all the drone shots and everything, that was quite an undertaking. And everyone was wearing like 4 hats because, I think Brittany was also a grip.
Sometimes I was carrying gear up the side of a rocky mountain.
Well, I was in the film. I wasn't going to be in the film, but part of the reason why I'm in the film is because we didn't have enough money to have like lodging for all the actors, and I was like, I think I can do it.
I love that. True indie filmmaking, and it's a sign also of a true independent actress who's willing to lug some gear to get the project done. So good work on that. I feel like this film is kind of ripe for a feature film adaptation. I mean, is there an idea of doing something that's a little bit more in length, or do you want to just keep it as a short film and then maybe move on to something else?
We're open to anything, I would say. I think when I wrote the script, I wanted to write something that would be like, really contained as a short. But I do really love Brittany's character. I feel like, it would be fun to see her character expand. And so it's something I have in the back of my mind, but I do feel like if I were to expand it, I would need sort of a co-author to help me, because that was one of the, Amelia's character, or Brittany's character, Amelia, was born when I was writing my grant. And then I was like, I can't really tell her story. I mean, I could, but I just don't. I feel like at this point, one of the things we're learning is how important it is to give voice to people who are having these kinds of experiences and make sure that they're actually being able to frame the stories. So we do expand it,
Brittany, did you have to do research? I mean, did you do much in terms of trying to get into this character before you guys shot the movie?
Absolutely. I definitely try to do as much research and due diligence as I can when I take on a role. So for sure, I went online. I talked to friends, family members, and the content really, unfortunately, there's an abundance of content to watch and to observe and, to witness. And it's not enjoyable. It's horrific, So yeah, I did do a lot of research. And yeah, I mean, it's so intense. I mean, even just kind of revisiting the things that I did see and the things that I did hear, I can't even help but like get emotional because it's horrific, to say the least.
The film is so timely. I mean, just right now, we're discovering that there's 500, kids out there that are displaced from their parents, and it's just like, it's really hard to digest. How's the response been towards this film? Have you screened in a number of places, and what are people saying about it? Is it really starting that conversation that we hope it does?
Well, we're just kind of coming out the gate with it right now, and so we really are hoping that we do get to use it that way. We're partnering with Raíces. I'm probably butchering that, but they're an advocacy group for this issue, and connecting people with resources so that they can move through the legal system, and we're teaming up. We're going to be a part of a Hostile Terrain 94, which is undocumented migration project that is going to have a bunch of satellite events, and one of them, or a couple of them, will be related to this film, and that's sort of an overlap with the art world, doing some social justice film festivals, and then we've just sent it off to a whole bunch more for winter, spring, summer. So we kind of got a little bit caught in the whirlpool around COVID with all the festival stuff. Finished it sort of right in time to sort of end up going, oh boy, but this isn't an issue that's going away, or hopefully it will eventually, and we want to be a part of the conversations that help people think of how we can make it better, and how it's actually something that impacts everyone. It's not just about a matter of going, oh, look at these people at the border, blah, blah, blah. This is actually, there's just issues of surveillance, and this is a civil liberties issue, a humanitarian issue, moral values, So we really hope the film helps people think about solutions.
Well, I certainly applaud you two and your entire crew for tackling such a timely subject matter. I mean, it's a story that a lot of people would be afraid to touch and don't want to pursue. And I'm glad that there's filmmakers that are bold and brave enough to tell these stories and to really, put that mirror in front of us and make us, realize, what kind of country, what kind of people are we going to be? So thank you for that. What's next for you guys? Anything coming up that we should know about? I mean, will we be seeing you maybe at the next year's film festival, hopefully in person?
I know, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It'd be really nice. I'm kind of dying for things to get back to normal. In the meantime, I am mastering the art of the online audition. So, that's its own animal to wrangle. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on right now. It's just sharpening my tools, I should say.
Okay.
I'm working on a pilot. Who knows how long it would take for that to happen. And I have thought that this could actually also be a series. So I work as an editor a lot. So I've just cut like 3 features. One of them is about Mike Gravel. It's a doc. I do a lot of doc stuff. So I'm really hoping that this Mike Gravel doc gets seen as, he was the 89-year-old who almost made it to the debate stage in the 2020 presidential election. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And then I'm doing a short film with my dad, who's in nursing care. So we're doing it through the window of his nursing home. It's like a fishbowl. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
I look forward to seeing that. Well, ladies, thank you so much for taking time out. Thank you for submitting your film to the Lone Star Film Festival. We're really proud to be showing it, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you. We're proud to be here.
Again, everyone, that is South of MARFA, which you can watch right now through Sunday at the Lone Star Film Festival. Make sure to check it out. I'm Chad Matthews. Thanks for watching.